So I've decided to do a new video series, shall we say, to sort of move things on while we're still going to be looking at the wrongs that the woo-woo practitioners do and things like that, so don't worry. However, this is considering this a new type of video series, and what we are going to be doing is looking basically at the misinformation and outright lies that people tell about fracking. And we're not going to go too in depth about some of the things at the moment. We will get to those in later videos. But today what we're going to do is we are basically going to talk about what fracking is. And fracking, first of all, is shortened from hydraulic fracturing. Now, what is this process? First things first that people get wrong is that they think this is a new process. This isn't new. We've known about fracking since about the 1940s. So when people say that this is a new thing, it's really not. What the new thing really is, and what you've got to separate from traditional oil and gas drilling from hydraulic fracturing drilling, is that the new thing is that we have a new drill bit. Because with traditional oil and gas drilling, you have to be right above the oil and gas layer to drill straight down to it. But now we have a new drill bit. We can now basically do it like a bendy straw and drill straight down and drill east, west, left and right, whichever direction they are going after. Now this opens new opportunities, because this then means that in a shale layer, because you've got to imagine a shale layer, imagine it's like a circle, and you say you're going to drill right in the centre. You're only going to be able to access a very, very small area if you were drilling straight down. Now, however, let's say you can drill that way, or that way. All of a sudden, you open up new areas and have more access to the shale layer. And this is where the fracking comes in. Now, the fracking process basically is forcing high pressure water, sand and other chemicals to basically fracture the area around it. Now, when I say fracture, these aren't huge gaping holes. It's not like say for example, if you look at an earthquake picture and you see a massive crack, it's not going to be like that. These are very, very tiny cracks, because that is why they use sand. Because the sand then allows the holes to remain open. So this is what we're talking about, and this is how small these fracture lines are actually going to be. Because again, if a grain of sand can keep these open, that's how small they're going to be. And a lot of people think that the fracking itself is going to be these huge basically holes in the middle of the earth. In fact, that process itself will only last 3 days. After that, they will just allow the gas to go back up and through the pipe. That is essentially what fracking is. Now, hopefully, I've informed people of, basically, hopefully, given a brief overview of Fracking 101. The next series, or the next couple of videos, is we're going to do some addressing basically the lies that people hear about fracking and, being able to set your water on fire. It pollutes the water table, it causes earthquakes, all that. We're going to cover it. But before we even start there, maybe people are going to ask where this all information comes from. Surely all this information comes from a reputable source. It doesn't. The first things that you've got to understand is most of this information comes from a documentary called Gasland, and Gasland is nothing but a colossal lie. And even the information that the guy got comes from a lawyer who was helping someone sue who claimed that their water had been contaminated, and the person that had supposedly done all these test results to prove that their water was contaminated had nothing to do with that field of expertise, even though she published and used paper in a court of law as evidence that this guy's water was contaminated. The test results didn't, they were false, they were falsified, and they were outright lies. And again, she even lied on a witness statement that she was a hydro engineer, and that she had all this experience in oil and gas drilling, and that she was the most highly qualified person to be able to show that these results were true. In the end, it was actually proven she knows nothing about oil or gas drilling, and she isn't a hydro engineer, and has no such degree at all. And yet, a lot of this information comes from this person, comes from the documentary Gasland, and people buy it hook, line and sinker, because when they hear these things, they believe it, and they become incredibly worried, and unfortunately a lot of people have bought this information hook, line and sinker. Indeed, there's the Frack Free South Yorkshire website uses the exact same information. It got it all from Gasland, and is basically an outright lie. I've no doubt people are going to come at me and saying that I am somehow involved with fracking, and that I have a iron in the fire, so to say. But I have absolutely no iron in the fire. I run my own business, but it has nothing to do with fracking. So yeah, look out for more videos soon. If you have a particular question you would like answered, I will more than certainly look into it for you. But yeah, enjoy, and look out soon. I'll be getting to videos when I can get a chance to do them.